Hello everyone, this is Accurate Driver, and hey, a new video from Unique Geese. And this one with that oh-so-popular naming nomenclature. Date, move, HC. Because, dot move. Yes, gotta double up on the move. Right after we saw the trailer for Indigo Park Chapter 2, we got this. And if we just scroll down a little bit, a letter accompanied by a flash drive was sent to a mailbox. I felt it important to share. And this is by Sophie, so it's a girl, and I'm going to do a horrendous accent. Hey there! I saw you were looking into Indigo Park, and I thought I would share this since I haven't seen it uploaded anywhere online. When I was little, I was super excited for the premiere of the new show on the Indigo channel. I was a massive fan of the Indigo cartoons, and we were getting ready to go on a trip to the parks. Anyway, my dad was always the finish what you started kind of guy, and even though I wanted to quit soccer so bad, he always ensured I made to every practice and game. On the evening of the show's world premiere, I threw a fit and begged him to let me stay home. He yelled at me, and I went to practice crying. I think he felt bad about that, because once I got home, he sat me down and showed me the episode through a crappy recording he took of our old camcorder. On this flash drive is what I have left of that recording. I had a hard time ripping it off the disc that was recorded to, so sorry if there's anything extra on there. I just haven't seen any posts online about the premiere of the show. Thought you might be interested. Thanks, Sophie. So, first of all, I will admit this is not the first time watching this because my first attempt at it failed. So I'm going to have some things to say as we go that I might not have been able to say, or at least not say as good, the first time through. Also, I will point out right away, so sorry if there's anything extra on there. Right away, theory sense tingling. Really?
Why don't I press the... Which one's record again?
Yeah, I checked. Oop. Yeah, I guess this is a good one to. Oh wait, went too far. There might be something during the flash. Oh, that's next. Here, on both ends of when it flashes to black, there is a single white frame. Well, almost white. We still have the record symbol, or the red light for record there. I have not done anything with it. I've not screenshot it and thrown it into some editing software at all. That would be a good place to start, I think, just because they're so obvious. However, they are also obvious, and so...
What are you doing with that camcorder?
Well, Sophie was mad...
Oh, this right here. And I'll get to the... There we go. I am 99% certain this is one of those cheap little toys that's supposed to be like mimicking an arcade kind of system. And the way it works is you put water in it, and it has like little rings or balls, and you use the buttons, and it squirts water up, and you try to get the whatever object it is up into a scoring thing, whether it's putting the ring on a scoring pole, or getting the balls into like a little hoop, or just just thought I'd mention that. These, I will talk about these,
was
but
mad
there's
that
a
I made
better
her go to soccer practice.
Shot of it.
So I'm gonna
Coming
record
up.
that show she wanted to watch.
And they're like all over the place.
God.
Rambly!
I'm just gonna...
But not anymore, thanks to the...
I think I
Okay,
got it.
here we go. I do not have personal experience with these per se, but I have seen them around. These are wristbands of a sort. They're basically like rubber bands. I just realized I don't have this full screen. There we go. They're like rubber band kind of thing. They're stretchy rubber materials, so you can put them on your wrist. And it's like a wristband, but they're shaped like animals and stuff, so when you take them off, it's like, oh, look, this is a cow or whatever. And this right here, this is the second. Oop, hey, Get one of those on your wrist. This is the second time I'm looking at this, and I'm not going to try to read it too much because I spent way too long looking over this in my first attempt. I cannot get a clear picture of this. Maybe someone has. If they have, power to them. I would love that. Your journey, or your jolliest vacation, is almost here. And then this. I do think this is actual writing, because you can see, especially on this one, there's dim spots here, which would be the separation of characters. Especially like here, there's 2 letters in this. Kind of looks like a YA. So like ya or yeah. Though, as I was kind of rambled on a bit in the first attempt, if you are doing a thing like this and you do not want people to figure this out, because 99%, once again, 99%, someone is going to throw this into some kind of program and sharpen it up and figure out what it says. If you do not want someone to know what it says, just have the actual prop blurred to begin with just like white lengths. That way, while people might be able to like try and figure out what it is just by the like length of the blurs, they won't be able to actually figure out what it is. And that's the only way to be certain people won't figure it out. A good example of this I just recently saw. Well, I shouldn't say that. Markiplier recently did a video of the Blueprints game. I enjoy watching Markiplier's content for the most part. I did not particularly like his way of playing Blueprints. But this is all unrelated. I just was watching someone else play it first, so it kind of colored my views on it. However, there is a network, a computer network in the mansion that you play in that you can access with a code. There is a note somewhere with the code written on it, but it's scribbled over. There is a method in-game to see through the scribble. However, Markiplier spent a lot of time and was able to figure out what the password was just with a screenshot. I have nothing against that, especially if it's intended. However, if you do not intend players or watchers or theorists to figure out what you are saying, you cannot put what you are saying, because even with this, I'm like, YA. And from there, it's like, you have a few other places where it's like, it looks like a TO. And once they figure out a few letters, they'll be able to compare it to other stuff. And just with the font, even without knowing the font, though up here we do have some of the font, and they will figure out what each one of these things says. And it'll be impressive. And if you don't want that, just right from the start, have the prompt, even if you apply the blurring effect later through an actual recording of the camcorder or through a filter, at least then, it will not be there from the find. So, moving on.
No respect for this house. I work all...
Bunch of stickers. Molly Macaw, a rainbow. Not sure about the rest.
And I come home
And
to toys everywhere and stickers on the TV.
I'm not sure what that says either.
You're the one who got her the sticker sheet.
I don't know if this has any meaning.
See that
Cerniflex. Falsca pillar fungerante. Which I'm sure someone has some idea what it's supposed to mean. To me, it just looks like false pill fungal something or other. Cerniflex. And this would be one of the things as mentioned down here. Sorry if there's anything extra. So this would be one of the extra things.
video game console you got her?
So
Covered with them.
So that could definitely have some kind of clue.
Pirate crew. Just stay away from that nasty coyote.
Woo. Yeah. I think, we've lots of people way ahead of me went and figured and did videos on this already. I'm a bit late to the show, but Coyote
You're watching
Man.
the world premiere of Molly Ahoy, only on
Molly
the
Ahoy.
Indigo channel.
And this is something I didn't mention enough in the first video because I didn't catch it at the time. And I should have looked this up. But this is implying that Indigo is of a similar size and power as Mickey Mouse, as Disney. Because this is, or at least, I wish I could remember the channel, but this is in the same style as the one Disney property where they had a channel basically. And it would have this, it was like the Mickey Mouse outline, except here we have Rambly. So that's implying that Indigo channel is of a similar strength as Mickey Mouse in our world, which is interesting. Though, as in my last video, really, it has to be the biggest again. Everyone is the big, but I get it. You're not gonna do some third-rate thing if you can help it. You're supposed to be popular.
Yo-ho, Molly was done with crashing planes that didn't last. Yo-ho, she built a better plane to fly her far and fast. Yo-ho, I lift up Molly.
And we've got a little bit of an island here, which I think
Bid farewell to all
there's
her
just
friends. Then she crashed again.
Finley. Oh, he's in a fish tank. That's fun.
Into a pirate's island.
But yeah, the frame between here to here, it's just a blur. So I can't tell if the little island with trees is this same island. But whatever it is, this is basically right off the shore. So why they're still there, I don't know. There must be a reason. Or cartoon logic, no reason. And yeah.
Molly was greeted by a fine and feathered crew.
Like, I know everyone's gonna be all big on the Coyote Man. Yeah, he's a... There's gonna be art of him. This character here, though, this is my favorite. Of the 4 new characters we see in this video, I like them. We're about to...
Your little bird brains knew exactly what to do.
Chainsaw. Now, if I could remember their name.
They looked upon the wreck that they would have to fix. Then they gave up and made Molly captain of their pirate ship. Molly ahoy!
Molly ahoy!
Molly ahoy!
Molly ahoy!
With Chip and Pip and Tiki.
Tiki. That's her name, Tiki.
Every day becomes a joy. Molly ahoy!
Molly ahoy!
Molly
He is not too enthused about that.
Molly ahoy!
This McCall's the real McCoy, it's swashbuckling. So come on, grab a sword, adventure's waiting in the wings. Ahoy! Molly ahoy!
Yeah, that's... This character is going to be important. Crash to crew. Now, we're going to get into my theories about this. Because I have 3 theories. I've got the boring theory, which is very much, while this is cool, we've already dealt with Molly. Molly, as a living mascot, is dead. We chopped her head off. Now, admittedly, that hasn't always been the most debilitating thing for so many horror franchises. Losing a head does not kill enough people. However, I'm willing to bet Molly is dead. There might be animatronics of Molly, but the living Molly is dead. And I'm also willing to bet there are not backups. So, seeing all this, and it's Molly themed, this could be a red herring. Or more specifically, not even a red herring so much, it specifically calls out as I noticed right at the start, so sorry if there's anything extra on here. Right there, it's just calling out there is extra stuff on here. So, red herring, really cool, world building, not important. Like, maybe we can figure out some stuff about chapter 1 from this, but unrelated to chapter 2. That's the boring one. I have 2 competing theories wherein this guy is important because if we go back to here, we have Finley, and we also have, well, he's in a tank here, but we also have the fact that this island thing is practically off the coast. Actually, look, there we go, that similar trees and stuff. This is just off the coast of the mainland of Rambley, whatever, Rambley land. So, we've got a sea serpent. He could just go over to the island and pick up Molly? Like, presumably she's staying there because of the people that picked her up and stuff. However, this is a pirate. Or more than a pirate, or more broader than a pirate. It's a captain of a ship. And you know what counters ships? Sea serpents. So, that implies a possibility. While Molly is the main character of the show, in the chapter 2, we've been shown very specifically Finley is a main feature of the next chapter. Hell, we had that horrific, realistic take of him, just like we had of Molly. So, my first theory is this coyote man, whatever his name is going to help us. Or more specifically, he's not good. Or maybe he is, like, he could just be like a similar AI sort of thing to Rambley. But he could still be evil. However, he will help us because he is against Finley. Even if Finley is evil, that doesn't matter. Finley is his enemy as a sea captain. And then we turn it on its head. Because, well, that's a good theory. There's one other thing. This is all too obvious. Finley is the villain? Well, yeah, like, teased right at the end of chapter 1. We get to see that horrific, real, actual flesh being Finley instead of like an animatronic. That's too obvious. What if Finley wasn't the villain? What if this Coyote Man is? Now, I do not think we will have a flesh coyote, which sounds horrible saying it like that, but you know what I mean. It's not the coyote in the flesh. It will be an animatronic coyote who is the villain. And on top of being the villain, Finley will help us. Finley is not evil. I can think of a number of reasons that could be. But a big one is Finley's in the water. Oh, sure, we've got the skunk smoke bomb stuff that turns you evil. But does it work underwater? We don't know. Maybe it doesn't. That could be the key. Finley isn't evil. And that is my theory. Given what we've got here, the fact we had so obvious of a scare tactic of, ooh, look at Finley, he's so evil. Too obvious. We cannot go into Ocean Adventure and be like, oh yeah, it has to be Finley. No, Finley is not the evil one. He will help us. That's my theory. Also, how we get these people into the chapter 2. Well, this is a premiere, right? So, if it's a premiere, that means it's relatively new, so they're going to have to add it to the park after it was finished. they're going to have to add on to an exhibit already. And we're better than Ocean Adventure. That's where we've got the ocean, and these are pirates. They're on the ocean. So even though Molly has her own area, that's a plane. That's an area focused on planes and flying and stuff. This is a pirate-themed thing. They'll put them in Ocean Adventure. Hell, pirates, Ocean Adventure, it goes together. But yeah, that is what I think will happen. Though, I admit, this is really like going off of nothing besides the fact that they've shown us too much about Finley. Finley is too obvious. If he's the villain, that's like going into Alien 2 and being like, oh, who's going to be the villain? Well, obviously it's the aliens. Except, that's the thing. Aliens 2, every other, like, the Friday the 13th, all these other things. Horror franchises have a consistent theming. But that takes it away. You aren't as afraid of the alien in the second video because you already had the scary alien in the first one. In fact, horror action turns into action horror. So, I think Unique Geese is going to pull the rug out from under us just to make it so things aren't so predictable. No, sure, like Finley would probably start off, it's like, oh no, it's an evil character. But we'll see how long that lasts. And you know what? Tell me down below what you think of my ideas. Tell me which theory of mine you think. Boring, interesting, or twist. Anyway, like and subscribe, this is Accurate Journal, and I'm signing off.